Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Bolzendahl, and I'm the director of the School of Public Policy here at Oregon State University. Today, I'd like to tell you a bit about the fantastic training our public policy masters and PhD students receive by introducing you to Dr. Vijay Satyal. Dr. Sajal has more than a decade of experience in energy and regulatory policy analysis, renewable energy technologies assessment, and regional bulk electric system grid planning assessment. He was previously a senior policy analyst at the Oregon Department of Energy and is currently senior energy market policy analyst with Western Resource Advocates, a regional conservation organization dedicated to protecting the West's land, air, and water. One of the classes Dr. Satyal teaches is International Energy Policy, an important class for our graduate degrees and our recently launched graduate certificate in energy policy. Dr. Satyal, can you tell me a bit about your goals for this class and the Capstone project you assign?
This course essentially is a newly introduced course that was brought into the curriculum of School of Public Policy as intended to be a hybrid course that brings together graduate and undergraduate students to appreciate energy policy issues, but more from an international context. This course essentially really looks at three main areas: looks at grid security, looks at issues involving the energy concepts that need to understand from an international perspective, and also the nexus of geopolitics, international policy issues, and world events. Another dimension to this course that is often uh, the students who will be taking this course will start to appreciate more is the group project, which is essentially a final exam, where the students have to combine into teams and look at a particular country and do a snapshot review of the country in terms of the international energy issues, the geopolitical factors, and overall their goals towards any kind of decarbonization efforts. This entire course is set over 10 weeks, plus an exam week that basically would cover you case studies of different energy situations from different countries around the globe and touch upon public policy concepts as needed.
That is so much to cover in 10 weeks. And I was just so impressed when you shared the projects that the students created, when you shared those with me. One of the projects that you shared with me, for example, was by your students Diane Brandt and Kathleen Clark. And they did an extremely professional report on Estonia's energy market. So I wanted to invite Diane here to say a few words about her experience. Diane, can you tell me a bit about what you learned in the process of creating your report with Kathleen?
Well, since it was a group project, we strategized early on to make sure we had everything covered and divided up. And we talked about how we were going to approach the specific research and the report outcome. So it drew on a lot of different resources than what I would typically use in classwork, like textbooks or academic research. While I did look at some existing research to get a sense of what was happening in Estonia, the bulk of the information we used was actually from governments and international organizations. So the US Energy Information Agency, Estonia's Ministry of Environment, and the EU's Energy Council, just to name a few. So a lot of the information we had was raw data and regulations, which meant we had a lot of work to interpret and analyze this information in the broader energy context. And I found this to be very similar to the analysis work I did in my previous career before joining the MPP program. So I know that I was practicing workplace skills in this assignment and while also learning about the subject area. So the value in this project for me was practicing a different style of writing, working with a partner that had different and complementing skills and experiences, and being able to analyze a set of information in a way that challenged me to make those connections to a practical question. How is this country doing with its energy and climate goals?
Yeah, that is really cool. And thank you so much for sharing your experience on that. So Dr. Satyal, overall, why is it important for us to provide this kind of training that Diane just was explaining? Why is it important for us to provide this to our students?
Sure, I think that's a very good question. One of the motivations for my proposing this course 2 years back, and it finally got into the curriculum last year, was it is my understanding that grad students want to finally graduate and get a real job. So if you really want to get a real job, whether it's in consulting or research or in any form of work, appreciating public policy and practice is, I think, very critical. And from my own personal experience, having been a policy practitioner and working with some of the international organizations on reviewing some of their projects, I felt this would be a great way to leverage and bring a work product into the classroom and have students learn to work together. This is the first class we did. There'll be some lessons along the way, but I think the kind of experience that Diane and Kathleen got when they step out, it would be similar to what is currently being done at organizations like Department of State, World Bank, International Finance Corporation. The IEA does that a lot. So that's basically the goal, is to have that experience that when you enter such a potential workplace, if you're very passionate about, you have something to lean back on as experience.
Absolutely, I can definitely see that. And so it's been really wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell me about your experiences in this class. I know a lot of future students and potential students are going to be interested to hear more. And so if anybody watching this is interested in learning more about our degrees or the work our faculty are doing, you can reach out to me directly at spp-director@oregonstate.edu. And Diane and Kathleen have graciously agreed to share their report publicly, so we will be sharing a link to that below the video here. So thanks, everyone.